Hey everyone, I'm your host Brittany Jones Cooper, and welcome back to Build. The highly anticipated second season of Big Little Lies is almost here, where audiences will finally get to see the fallout from Perry's death and how secrets can affect friendships and marriages. Today I'm chatting with Douglas Smith, who joins the cast this season, but first, here is Big Little Lies.
Madeline, you are not the only parent complaining, just by far the loudest.
You okay? Melissa, I don't even like to chew. I just shove them down. Maybe you can give one hand to Warren so he can shove it too.
Ah, and we're off. It's a classy crop of moms, these ones.
People think that I am unhinged.
Pretty much.
That one, she's the Medusa of Monterey. I will squish you like the bug that you are.
Let second grade begin.
I still feel responsible for the accident.
It's gonna get us. It's gonna get us all.
What are you talking about?
Why?
This detective is just trying to put the pressure on us so that one of us breaks.
You don't believe my son just slipped.
He knows that I lied to him.
We swallow our feelings, especially the bad ones. They could turn into really ugly monsters.
Do you see yourself as a monster?
I can just see the damage that's done, and it's eroding every single one of us.
My son is dead, and I want answers.
I gave you answers.
Yes, but you left some things out, didn't you? You were planning to leave him. And you learned of his infidelity just 10 seconds before he died. Oh, you left that out, too.
Please help me welcome Douglas Smith. How you doing today?
Good. I should talk into the microphone.
You should, yeah, it's good.
Okay.
I mean, or you could just yell really loudly. I think it would have the same effect.
Cool.
Do you have the same reaction when you watch that trailer as I do, where it's just like, I cannot wait, so much intrigue, so much suspense coming into this second season?
Yes. I really also like the music.
Yes, the music is huge. So were you a fan of the show before you auditioned, or what was your relationship with Big Little Lies?
My relationship with it was that I had some people in my life who were really obsessed with it, and I had not seen it. And then I got the audition, and I was at a crossroads. I thought, okay, a lot of people have said it's really good. Do I watch it and then get really, if it's really good, then I'll get really, nervous before my audition. So I auditioned, and I waited till I got the job, and then I binge watched the whole show before showing up for work. Yeah.
So what was the audition process like?
It was pretty humane, actually. Yeah. Yeah, it was nice. And they're not always that way. It was really nice. The casting director who works on this show is a really soulful sort of artist. And it was. I went there, and we there was, I think, 3 or 4 scenes, and we just talked about them. And he took a real long time letting me find who Cory was, and we sort of just put a tape together, and then it was sent off to Andrea, who directs all the episodes of the second season, and then we connected on Skype, and then we had a nice long Skype, and then then they asked me if I wanted to do the job, and I said yes, please. And then
So you just mentioned you played Cory.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about him.
He's a bit of a, he works at the Monterey Aquarium, and as you know, the show takes place in Monterey, and I didn't really realize how amazing the Monterey Aquarium is. It's kind of a world-renowned aquarium. You didn't know that? You should definitely go. And it's also where the Pixar animators used for the inspiration of that aquarium in the Finding Dory Pixar movie. And also that really cute Pixar short where there's the little birds in the beach, and what is it called? You know what I'm talking? Piper. Yeah. That was also all the illustrators sat at the Monterey Aquarium drawing the actual. So there's just that kind of has nothing to do with this show, but it's just a really great place, and the character works there in the husbandry department. Works feeding and cleaning the terrariums and such, the penguins. There's jellyfish, and Jane's character in this season is now working at the aquarium, and so we meet at the as coworkers, and he's a bit quirky, a bit not the most Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell exactly what his motivations are and what his interests are, and if he kind of one of those people when they're talking to you, you can't tell if they really like you or they really don't like you, but there's something just a bit off. Maybe they're nice. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I found. I got to check out the first 2 episodes, and that's what I found really funny about Cory is that he's just like this very quirky character, and sometimes he says things that are like offensive, but you don't know if he actually means it that way to her.
Yeah.
And their dynamic is really fun back and forth because they are very honest with each other right away. So did you get to meet Shailene Woodley before getting to shoot with her or rehearse with her or anything like that?
Yeah, we've actually known each other for a number of years. Yeah, that was actually a really fun thing. I've known Shailene and Zoe for, 8 years maybe. I don't know. I'm not good with time. But yeah, I've had the pleasure of knowing them and for a number of years. So I was really excited to be able to work on the show that they were in. And yeah, I did a film with Zoe in 2012. And actually, Shailene was almost going to do that film. And then there was a scheduling conflict. And so we've all known each other for at least that time. And I actually knew Zoe before then. I can't remember how. But anyways, yeah. Life, yeah.
I love that. It's such a small world.
It is.
Yeah. Is that a big difference for you when you go into a set if you know just one of the other actors or producers or something? Does that like add an extra layer of comfort?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's huge. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it's very nerve-wracking. You don't want to mess up. You don't want to get fired. You don't want to, it's a good opportunity, and you want to, but you also don't want to like try too hard.
Especially on a show like this that going in that people love. I would imagine that's a lot of pressure. What is the vibe like on set though? Because it is such a serious, dramatic show at moments. And so when you walked into that set, what was the vibe you got?
It was really sweet. Yeah. There was a lot of love and a lot of music. Actually, Andrea played a lot of music on speakers, really beautiful songs, and she's just a wonderful sort of life force and makes you feel instantly comfortable. And there's a lot of improvisation, a lot of just sort of excitement, and even the first AD was so sweet. She wasn't like a yeller. For people who don't work on film sets, a lot of times first ADs are kind of the drill sergeants of the set, and they yell and they, and ours was not like that. It was all just really, and the environment that we got to shoot in was beautiful. We shot in, beautiful Monterey. We shot in a beautiful state park just south of Carmel. It was just, it was really nice. Yeah.
The whole show is so beautiful. That's when you were talking about the aquarium, I'm like, that actually is a nice note to add because Monterey is really like another character in the show because of how visually sort of stunning everything is.
Yeah.
And also like there was another new cast member this season.
Yeah.
Newcomer.
Yeah, she.
Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
So were you ever on set on those days, or does the energy sort of ramp up when she's around?
Yeah, I unfortunately did not get to work with Meryl. I met her at the table read, Yeah. I think I was in her way when she needed to go to the bathroom, and she was very polite and introduced herself to me, and I was very happy to get to meet her. She's a legend of the job that I do. Yeah, the acting craft. Yeah.
You're like so nonchalant. I'm like, yeah, I know, it's Meryl Streep.
Yeah, it's always funny when they like people that you've known about your whole life, introduce themselves to you, and you don't want to say, yeah, I know your name,
You're like, I know everything about you. I've Googled you several times.
I haven't done that, but I've seen her in a lot of movies, and I think the first one I saw her in was like Manhattan, where I saw Kramer vs. Kramer later, and I really liked that a lot. Yeah, and I really like The Devil Wears Prada. I watched that. It's a good midnight or 2 a.m. type of thing when you can't sleep. Or like a movie when you're jet lagged, Yeah.
I love that movie. If you haven't seen Postcards from the Edge, that one she did with Shirley MacLaine, top. So good.
It's funny. I was just listening to a podcast. I just flew in from like Hungary yesterday, and I was listening to a podcast where people were talking about that. And I don't know what it is. They were talking about the Academy Award, because that was the year that Julia Roberts was nominated for Best Actress for Pretty Woman, and they were talking about all the different people that were nominated that year, and then they talked about Postcards from the Edge. I have no idea what that is.
It's a classic. People sleep on it, but
Yeah.
it's really great. I
All
think
right.
it's based on Carrie Fisher's relationship with Debbie Reynolds. So
Is that her mom?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's like extra layered. Sorry, we're going way off topic, but I just love
Yeah,
that movie
yeah,
so
yeah,
much.
like-
if you guys haven't
yeah,
checked out
sorry.
Postcards from the Edge, he's nodding. It's great.
Cool.
You mentioned you just got off a plane from Hungary, and that's
Uh-huh.
because you're shooting another show, The Alienist.
Yeah.
So that's coming back for its second series.
Yeah, it's a second series that's set with the same characters. New case. It's another book that was written by the same author, and so this will be called The Angel of Darkness. Wow. Yeah.
But you're still playing the same character, Marcus?
Yeah. Same character, and and it's the same main cast: Dakota Fanning, Luke Evans, Daniel Bruhl, myself, and then my twin is played by Matthew Shear, who's a very, very good actor, a great person, and yeah.
What can you tell us, if anything, about shooting in Hungary, or is that the only location you guys shot in?
Yeah, that's where we shot the whole first season. It takes place in New York City, but in the 1800s, and so they built the largest set in Europe for the first season, and so they built blocks and blocks and blocks of, Manhattan and the Lower East Side, and then up by Fifth Avenue. It's a whole thing, and we haven't started rolling yet. We're in pre-production. I'm gonna fly back after the Big Little Lies premiere, and then we'll start rolling next Tuesday. What day is today? Tuesday?
I have no idea.
I don't know. A week.
Yeah, after a holiday week.
June
it's
4th.
just-
June 4th. It's Tuesday, right?
Tuesday.
Yeah. So a week today we start actually rolling, but I've been there doing prep because there's a lot of stuff you do before the cameras roll. Yeah.
What's it like living in Hungary then? Are you in Budapest?
Yeah. I'm in Budapest. It's a great city. There's a lot of party animals that frequent that city, so it can be a bit noisy on the weekends. I think I might buy some earplugs. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's kind of like Bourbon Street meets Ibiza or something. There's a lot of bachelor parties. I think they call them stag parties in the UK. There's a lot of like that, and a lot of people howling in the middle of the night, like. I don't know. Yeah, like how, like that, like
Actually
actual
howling.
like actual howling. Yeah. I know. Yeah. But it's a great city, and.
So I first saw you on Big Love. No, I almost said Big Little Lies. Big Love.
They're next to each other
Yeah.
on the HBO Now app. It's kind of funny. It was like Big Love and Big Little Lies.
And you were also on Vinyl. So
Mm-hmm.
this is your third HBO show, which I love. It's not a bad network to be associated with.
Yeah, I just wish that I got to be on Game of Thrones. Now that's over. Yeah.
Don't we all?
I mean, I do. Yeah.
I think they're shooting the prequel though, right?
I know one of our producers on The Alienist up for the first season. He's not working on our second series because he's now doing the prequel. Chris Symes. Yeah.
So there's still hope.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they move very slow with HBO, so maybe they'll move slow enough that I could do something. Yeah. I miss the characters already, and so I started reading the first book.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I read it on the plane over here. Yeah.
It?
Do
Should I do it?
Yeah.
Should I read it?
Do you miss the characters?
I do. I just rewatched
it.
all of the final season. I've seen it twice already.
I mean, the book is awesome. I was not a book reader. I was a show watcher. Now I'm starting to be a book reader. I'm on page 155 of 800 of the first book, but I only started it 2 days ago. So and I'm a slow reader. So that's
So it's good.
Yeah, because I usually don't read fast. Yeah, it takes a long time for me to finish a script, like all day. I'm serious, because I'll stop and then I'll be like, what? And then I'll start it again, and yeah.
What is it about a script that makes you want to be a part of a project? Is there something that you look for in the character, or are you just kind of open to anything?
There's lines that are oh, that really resonates, and it doesn't always have to resonate with you and your life, but it's something else, because I don't think that we always have to play ourselves, This one, there was a lot of things that I actually related to with my own personal life, but I don't think that always has to be the case. Just something that I think it's the same as when you're an audience member and you're watching it and something sticks to you and you're like, oh, something about that makes me feel more alive. And that's sort of, I don't know. I that's what I sort of get excited by. I'll still audition for things that don't do that, but my auditions tend to be less good because I tend to be more I tend to be better when I'm, inspired by it. But I audition for things I'm not inspired by all the time too, because have to work and
You have to pay the bills.
Yes. Yeah.
What age did you start acting?
I did my first movie when I was 12, which is a little weird. Yeah, I didn't have an agent. I was visiting. It sounds sort of normal. I was visiting my older brother who was working on a film. He's now a director, but he used to be a child actor. He was doing a film called Small Soldiers, and I was coming home from school, going to visit him, and somebody who cast that was also casting a movie called Blast from the Past, and they thought I looked like Brendan Fraser. And so I got cast to play young Brendan Fraser in a movie called Blast from the Past. And so at 12, I was in a bomb shelter with Christopher Walken, and I remember thinking, why is he talking so weird, So that was.
Who is Christopher Walken?
I was 12. I had no idea. But I didn't really start. That was like a one-off thing. I didn't pursue it until high school, and I was sort of kind of a bit of a jock and a bit of an athlete. No, that's the same thing. A bit of a jock and then a bit of a movie lover, and then it sort of hit a crossroads in the spring of freshman year because, you run cross country in the fall, and then you run track and field in the spring, and so I really didn't like running cross country in the fall that year. I was really wanting to watch movies, and so then that was like the moment. I'm not going out for track and field. I'm gonna go to acting class, and yeah.
Did you do the school theater, or did you go outside of school?
I tried to join. I was going to Agora High, and I tried to join, but they weren't interested because I'd moved to the area from Canada the summer before freshman year, and I sort of missed all the deadlines to join. And so they said I would have had to wait a whole other year, and so I ended up going to an acting class in Van Nuys. And my mother was kind enough to drive me in to Van Nuys because we were out in the suburbs. If people don't live in LA, this probably doesn't mean a lot to them, but it was like a 45-minute drive, and the class was like 3 hours, and it was like from 6:15 to 9:45, and she would just hang out at I don't really know what she did, honestly, but she was there when I got out, and then when I got a car, I would, drive myself. But I went to that acting class the entirety of high school, 4 years, yeah.
Well, it paid off.
I still, I'm always working on it and trying. I don't think it's not you don't just stop learning. I'm always learning. I mean, yeah, I learned a lot on this job.
Yeah, what did you learn?
Well, we did a lot of stuff off script, a lot of improvisational stuff, and I'd never really done a lot of that, at least not professionally. And improvisation in a dramatic scene is it's not what you really think of. Usually you think of comedy, at least I usually think of comedy when I think of improv. So it was interesting. And then it actually caused me to be more curious. And then in the time since I finished working on this in the fall of 2018 and before I've started the second series that's based on The Alienist, I started going to the UCB, the Upright Citizens Brigade, and doing improv courses because I realized I actually really like that. It's really gets you out of your head, and it's fun, and the people there are really great, and so it's been a really I've spent a few months doing that in the off time, and so yeah, I don't know, I'll probably keep doing it, but we'll see.
I didn't realize that improv was actually a part of this show because it is this sort of dramatic, and usually you don't have that energy, but that actually makes me respect the scenes so much more because of how flexible the actors have to be.
Yeah. I mean, there was great writing, and we respected the script, but then on top of the script, Andrea likes to work in a way that, we'll throw the script out for a scene or for a take, and yeah, it was a bit scary. It was a bit scary. You're just yeah. And so, it was interesting. I've only seen the first episode, but I was delighted to see that the things, were good to watch. Because in my head, I was like, what did it look like? Because when you don't get to do it over and over again, you don't have that safe feeling of, oh, we nailed it, Yeah, so it's a little scary, but sometimes good art comes from a scary place. Yeah.
It's probably hard for you because also there's so much, the show is very edited, right? There's a lot of flashbacks and a lot of jumping around. So even, I'm sure you shot out of order, but even when you watch it, things are sort of out of order and put in different places. So
that was louder than
that. It's okay.
If I get really close, it goes. Yeah.
Ooh, that's like a Dark Knight Batman voice.
Yeah, I'm Batman.
If you ever want to go into voice work, you could do that too.
Thank you.
Have you done any voice work?
I've never gotten paid to do voice work. I've auditioned for voice work stuff, and I did a short film, and somebody heard my voice and said, "You've got a great voice. We'll send you out for voice work." But I sort of stopped going to the auditions because I never got hired. So yeah, it just seemed like a waste of gas. To
Maybe it's
drive
not your lane. Maybe.
I don't think so. Yeah. Maybe one day. When I grow up.
Still time.
Yes.
Well, before we go, we do have a question or two from the audience. Who do we have first?
Hi, so I wanted to know what has been like the most difficult and the most like rewarding part of being on this cast and on this show?
Well, the most difficult thing was keeping my anxiety in check because it seemed like a really great opportunity. And then after you get a really great opportunity, if you're anything like me, the first thing you worry about is it going away because you didn't do a good enough job. So I really had to keep my fear of getting recast at bay, if I'm being totally honest. Yeah, and I get I get a missed call from my manager at 6 p.m. or something, and I call him back and he wouldn't answer, and then I'd spend the whole night being like, why did he call me because I'm getting fired, or did he call, and yeah, so that was just being able to enjoy it is the hardest thing. And it was a two-part. What did you? And, just being around such amazing artists and being able to help tell a story that you actually believe in. And I think that was the most rewarding thing.
Those two things are probably linked because you could be excited for a job, but then you walk in and you see these women who are all such heavy hitters. Yeah. And that's intimidating. I'm sure you have to be all right, I gotta level up.
Yeah.
Hanging out with
remember where your feet are. Yeah. That's what some drama teacher told me. Remember where your feet are. Don't hyperextend your knees. Micro bend. Kind of. Yeah. That's something. Yeah, because sometimes when you're nervous, you're floating around and you just remember where your feet are. Yeah.
You could also that translate into life in general.
Probably. It does. Yeah. A lot of acting is not just for actors. That's what I liked about UCB. Half the people in our class are not actors. They're people who are from another country trying to be more confident speaking English, or there was a lawyer who wanted to be more confident in a courtroom. There was a bodybuilder that just felt nervous when she did competitions. There was a lot of actors too. There was somebody who just worked in tech, who just wanted something to do. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a life skill. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And one last question.
Hello. Do you think your audition process would have been different if you had watched the show before?
Yeah, I don't think I would have gotten it. I think I would have gotten in my way, maybe. I can be my, I can be my own worst critic or something. I might have. There's no way to really know, but so it's a difficult thing because you want to prepare and you want to give yourself all the ammunition to do the best job, give yourself the best chance, but you don't want to obsess, and it's a slippery slope, and so you just kind of I don't always make that decision. Sometimes I feel I really need to watch this because it's a weird tone I watched some of the trailers and I got the vibe, but I just sort of felt like if I fell in love with it too much, I'd be a little too needy or something, So I had to stay cool, Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Well, congrats on staying cool because, like I said, I got to check out the first 2 episodes, and fans of the show will love it. I mean, it is such a beautiful show. The storylines are so much bigger this season. There's so much conflict. And with Cory, I'm really curious to see where he goes, whether he's going to be just a friend or a love interest. If he has some secrets of his own, I don't know, but I'm excited for his journey. So, guys, Big Little Lies premieres on June 9th at 9 p.m. on HBO. Please give it up for Douglas Smith.